In this tutorial I'm going to extend on what we did last time, where we used Audrey to create a Kodi add-on for the zero punctuation playlist. The issues that we had with demo 1 was that using this approach here and pulling from the actual YouTube page itself, this page here, we was limited to 100 videos. These all showed on one page, and that was the maximum you could ever get. So what we're going to do now is amend this so that it works with the YouTube API. This will allow us to pull all the videos that a channel playlist has, and it will allow us to paginate it as well. So the first thing that you'll need to do is basically go to this URL here, developers.google.com/YouTube/v3/getting-started. Follow these before you start instructions. This will get you to basically sign into Google, create an account, create a project, sign up for the YouTube data API, and it will give you an authentication key. Now I've already got the key here. I've gone through this process. It's a bit long, a bit boring, but so I won't include it in the video, but you will need to do it. So just follow these until you get your key. Right, the next thing is to create a JSON file. I'm just going to copy this content here quickly so I don't need to rewrite everything. Much like the last example, I'm using JSONbase.com to store the JSON file. If you haven't already got an account, just sign up, it's free. When you're done, just come in here, click new. I'll paste in the content from the last one and give this a quick name. I'll call it demo 2, zero punctuation, YouTube API. Right, so once we're here, let me go down, rename this so that we know it's different. Again, poster and fan art won't be needed because we're only using the one site. If you have multiple sites, then use the poster and fan art just to add some nice images in. Right. Again, I'll keep latest, so this is all the same. What we need to do now is not use this YouTube page link. We need to use the API URL. So once you've signed up, go into the API Explorer and scroll down here until you find playlist. And what we're after is this one here, YouTube playlist items list. This returns a collection of playlist items that match the API request parameters. So here we are. This is all the parameters that you can pass to this. First of all, let's authorize this. Right, that's good. So let's go through here. So the part. So this displays the information from the playlist. I'm just going to use snippet, and that's what it's got here as an example. Fingers crossed, that's all we'll need. Hopefully that covers all the data that we'll need. Max results, this basically tells you how many results are per page. As you can see here, 50 is the maximum return, so I'll go with 50. You can obviously change this to anything you like as long as it's between the 0 and 50 range. Next thing, once we've got that done, is just specify the playlist ID. Playlist ID can be found here in the URL. This is it here, just after the list equals. So if we copy this and we paste the ID into here, this should now give us the first 50 videos from the zero punctuation playlist. If we execute that, we can then see the URL that we need, and here we can see the content returned. Now let's just have a check through and see it's got everything we need. It's got the title, it's got the description, which we can now add in, and it's got the imagery, and it's then got the video ID. So that is everything we need to create our Kodi add-on. So again, to test this, the best thing to do is to use feed 43, as this is what the add-on was based on for its regular expressions. So if we copy this URL, and we paste this into here, we obviously need to replace your API key with your API key. Now I've previously gone through the setup, so I've set up a project, I've set up an account, then created the project, then requested to use the YouTube data API. I've got that, and I've got my credentials here, so let me copy the key and replace your API key for mine. We can request it. Now what you can see here, you can see all the content that we pulled on this page here. Now we don't need to worry about the global search here, because we know we're returning the exact content that we need. So all we need to do is go through and find out what it is that we actually need from here. So before I go any further, I'm just going to copy this URL, go back into our JSON file and replace the old site URL for the new one. We can remove the global search because it's not needed. As mentioned just a second ago, we're pulling the data that we need, so there's no excess data that we need to search around or get rid of. So the next thing we need to do is basically get the pattern that we're searching with to pull the right data. So if we look down here, we need to find what each one is contained within. Now I think because we're using snippet, I think each item that is returned should be contained within it. So let me just do a quick search, if I can spell it right. Yeah. So we've got snippet there, snippet there. So we know that each of the results start with snippet. So what we can do is we can take this here, paste that there. Let's get rid of that and the space. So we know that that's the start of our search pattern. Coming down, we want the title, so we can take this, paste that in there to go that we're ignoring any content after snippet up until the point that we get to the title. So that will take it from here all the way down to here. So these 2 lines or 3 lines are ignored. Now this is the title, so we can replace that with a %, so we know that that's our data. Once we've got that, we then want to go down to the description, so we can take this, copy that, we'll put the star in to show that we're ignoring any content. That includes spaces in this case, and we can remove the content here and replace that with a % to show that that is the description that we need. So going down, we've now got the thumbnails. You've got default, medium, high, standard, max res. Now in my experience, obviously the higher resolution ones are better, but I find that sometimes they just don't have them. So I think using this standard size is the best one. I think that's the default across all of them. Sorry, that's my phone. Right, so what we do is we want this. So again, we have the star to show that there's just content that we're not concerned with, and we paste the standard in. Now let's bring this back up to here. We can add a star in to represent the line break. And we've got the URL, and then this is what we're after. This is the content we're after for the image. So again, we put the % in. Now we've got the title, the description, and the image to be used. What we next need is the video link. Now, this doesn't provide us with a URL, so what we need to do is use this video ID to basically create a link to the video. So for the minute, we'll just try and pull this the video ID and worry about that in the JSON file. So if we delete that, say put the star in so that the content will be ignored. Copy paste this into here, and then we know we want to grab that content. So that's a start there. Skip the content until we find title. This is the title we need. Skip the content until we find description. Then we grab the description. Skip the content until we get to the standard image. Skip any of the content till we get to the URL, and then grab the URL. Then skip the rest of the content, so that'll be the image sizes and a little bit of video information, till we get to the video ID. Then grab the video ID. Now, if all of this has worked, what this should now give us when we click on extract is the video details. Yeah. So if you then look down here, %1 is the title, %2 is the description, %3 is the image, and %4 is a video ID. So we now know that pulls the content correctly. So we can copy this and we can paste that into our search pattern. Again, as mentioned in the last tutorial, you just need to comment out or escape any of the speech marks by just putting a backslash in front of them. So I'll just go through and do that. Right, so that's escape. Now we just need to amend these so that it works with the new pattern. So going through, we know that title is the first one, so name can remain the same. Going on, description is now the second one, so we'll now add in additional item here. We'll call this plot. This is 2. What this will do is this will display a description of the video within Kodi. We now need to change the URL, because this time, instead of the full URL, we're just given the video ID. So the best thing to do on this is to play a video.
This is an ad for
Stop that.
project management tool called Monday.
If it will actually stop. And what we want to do is grab this. We don't need anything after the V, because the V is the video ID. So if we copy this, and we paste that link into the URL, we can then just replace the video ID with %1, 2, 3. And that will give us the video ID. Then sorry, that's the URL for the image, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Video ID, for example 4, my bad. 4. Then image URL is number 3, so they can stay the same. Now if we save this, again that will now give us the link to the JSON file that we need to put into our add-on. We copy that and close this down. What this will do is this will, as we've got the max results here, this will give us the first 50 results within the playlist. So let's give that a test just to make sure that that is working. So let's make this full screen, go back into the video, go into the Audrey tester, go into the settings. Double check that we've disabled the create add-on, which it has done. And here we just delete the old URL, paste in the new one. Okay, that. Now let's give this a run. And here you go. So this is much like what we saw before in the last add-on, except this time it stops at 50. And as you can see here, you've got, it's not really a description of the video, but it's what's on the description for the video on the side. Now obviously with other videos, it might be a bit more descriptive. Alright, so we know that works. However, now we're stuck at 50. What we want to do is allow for next page. So let's exit out of here and minimize that. Now if we go back into the Google API Explorer, what you will see here, I believe, is a page token. And this should, yeah. So here we're given the next page token in the results. So for every time that there is a next page token in the results passed back, we know that there's an additional page of content. So what we can do, just to test, if we copy this page token, we can see here that the first video is Hunt Down the Freeman. So if we paste the page token in here, this should load in the next 50 videos. And as you can see, the first result's now changed, Ghost Recon. So that's the next page. So again, this is the URL that we need. But before we copy that in, to add a next page link within the add-on, you need to add two things. First of all, the next pattern. So this will search the page for essentially anything that suggests that there is another page. So in this case, we're looking for the next page token. If you're using this outside of the API, it might be a next link or a page numbered link or something like that. But it can be, as long as it's on every page, you can use it. So let's have a look. So again, you can use this to test it. So So we'll delete that and we'll go back up to the top. So this is what we want to look for. If the results we get back has this line of text in it, we need to grab this token. So we paste this, we copy this, and we paste that in there. Now this is what we're after. As I say, without using the API, this would more likely be a link to another page, but as we're using the API, it's the token. So we put the percent in to say we want that data, and then we extract to see if we found it. Yeah. So that then goes, I found the next page token, here's the data. So again, we can copy this, paste that pattern into here, comment out any speech marks, get rid of that as well. Then we need to create the URL, and that's done by using next URL. So again, we know that this URL pulled the data, and what we're looking for here is the fact that we've passed the page token to it, which specifies the page we want. So we can copy this URL and paste that here. Now again, we need to replace the Your API key with the API key you get when signing up, and we need to replace this page token here with the ID. Now with the next pattern, again, you can add as many of the percentages in there as you need, and then reference them exactly the same as you do here with a %1, %2. So we've only got one, so we know that that's %1. We know that that is a current token, and we can replace that with a %. Now, as I mentioned, what this does is once the page is loaded, once this page is loaded, it will check to see if this pattern exists. If it does, it will extract the next page token, and it will then use this URL to load the next page in, replacing, sorry, that should have a 1 on it, replacing the %1 with the value got from next pattern. So, if we save that, this link remains the same. So plus side is, if you are creating an add-on, you can just edit the JSON file, and any add-on using this JSON file will automatically update without any need to re-download the add-on. You can just make changes within the JSON file as long as it's online, and then it will reflect within the add-on. So if we come back in here, let me go back and don't know where we've gone. Okay, so we go back into video add-ons, we run Audrey tester. As I say, we don't need to change anything as the JSON file has been updated, and that's what this loads in. So if we run it now, it should return 50 results with a next page option at the bottom, which when we click on will open the next 50 videos. So let's go in. We'll just need to refresh. It's a caching issue. So we've got the content, so here's the 50 videos, and then you'll see at the bottom here, next page. So if we go to the top quickly just to double check, so we know that Hunt Down the Freeman is the first video here. Let's scroll to the bottom and go next page. There you go. And much like on the API Explorer, Ghost Recon is the next video on the page. Go to the bottom just to double check that it's working for the following page. Let's get there. There we go, next page. If we click on that, the next lot of content comes in. And again, hit play.
mindless mute. But enough about the plot of Half-Life 2, let's talk about XCOM 2 instead. The game opens with a tutorial mission in which the nameless, voiceless, faceless command...
And there you go. That is how you create an add-on using the YouTube API. The good thing about this code, and with the previous plugin, is that this can be used, once you've written this once, you can lift this straight off of here, obviously replace the API key with your own, but then all you'll need to do is just change the playlist ID and it will work with that playlist. Much same with demo 1, if you replace the playlist ID there, that will work with your playlist. So again, let's go in here and I'll show you how to create an add-on that you can install, pass around, put in your repository. Go into settings, go down to create add-on. Now this is filled in from the last tutorial, so we don't need to change that much. Obviously we need to change the name. So we'll call this demo 2 YouTube API. Version's the same, summary's the same. Let's change the description. Loaded Audrey using the YouTube API. I'll use the same icon and image. And we want to, let me scroll down, create add-on on next run. So again, this will save to the D drive, my D drive. The plugin name will be called Zero Punctuation Demo 2 YouTube API. Each of these bits of metadata are required, and it will just help provide information. So we OK that, and then we run the Audrey tester. Sorry, that's again caching issue with YouTube there. So the add-on has been created in the saved location specified. So now if we go in here and install from zip file, go to the D drive, you'll see that we've now got a plugin as well as the previous one. We've now got this. If we run that, that's installed. So we have the first demo that we created in tutorial 1. This has the limitation to it all being on one page and only 100 videos. Now if we go across to demo 2, you'll notice that this has 50 videos per page, same videos. So that's the first 50. If we get to the end, next page, this is the next 50. Scroll again, and whereas on the previous add-on this was the end of it, this was 100, we can now go 150. And obviously scroll to the bottom, as there's more content, next page, and that will keep going until there's no more content. And that's how to create an add-on using Audrey in Kodi using the YouTube API.